Hello, I'm Adam Kozorth, the preacher for the Second Street Church of Christ in Belmont, Mississippi, and here's your pearl of truth for today. In 1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 5, Paul writes, "Now the purpose of the commandment is love from a pure heart, from a good conscience, and from sincere faith." But the purpose of what commandment? We realize we're coming in the middle of a statement. And if you go back to verses 3 and 4, he talks about the fact that the commandment was what he had told Timothy to do in Ephesus when he left for Macedonia. And that was to teach them that they should not proclaim any other doctrine, and that they should stay away from fables and endless genealogies which cause disputes rather than anything beneficial, rather than godly edification. And so he says in verse 5 that the purpose of those commands, the purpose of telling him you don't teach any other doctrine, and you stay away from those things that just cause arguments, is love. The word there for love is the term agape, and it carries with it the idea of a love that looks out for the other person's interest ahead of our own, that it is one that puts the other person first. You see, arguing and disputing when it comes to things that are of no consequence then only becomes a matter of my pride, me wanting to be right, and me wanting to prove that I know more or that I'm better than somebody else in a given area. And yet, when our focus is the love for somebody else, when our focus is ensuring that they are right with God, number one, I'm not going to tell them something that God didn't say. But number two, I'm not going to get bogged down in things that don't matter, because I care more about them and I care more about their soul than I do about my own pride and ego. Paul says the commandment that he gave stemmed from love that was from a pure heart, from a good conscience, and from sincere faith. If we are going to be the types of Christians that are going to help others see what God wants them to see, understand what God wants them to know, and are willing to do what God wants them to do, then we've got to follow the things that God says from a place of love. It's not from a place of exalting myself or proclaiming myself to be better than anybody else. It doesn't stem from the idea that somehow I know more than someone else, but rather it is because we care about the souls of men. We only want people to see the love that God has for them and to recognize that they are important. That they are important to us and that they are important to God. If we move out of those motivations and we refuse to teach anything other than what God says, and we refuse to get bogged down in things that don't matter, then we are truly working from a standpoint of love. We are working to build a foundation in people's hearts that is focused on getting them to heaven, not on being the one who is proven right, but on being the one who shows that God is right. I hope that you'll consider these things, and that you'll take this pearl of the day into your thoughts. Have a great day.